Hello everyone, and welcome to my stream of day 10 of my live React coding. So I'm working on a text encryption app, something like what you can find if you just Google AS encryption online. You will be able to find many tools like this. So something like this I'm working on. Let me try to show you what I did in first day. Okay, in first day I defined a spec, something like this. Here I defined a layout, so I'm going to have three windows: input, transforms, and output. In the first window, user will be able to enter the text they want to transform. Then they will be able to select what they want to do with this text. For example, they might want to do AES encryption on it, and then in the output panel they will be able to see the result. Okay, and here's what I've done so far. I have set up a React project. I have set up Cypress tests. Cypress tests already started. I think even React app is already started this time. Yeah, I actually haven't stopped it since my last stream. Yesterday there wasn't much coding. Actually, there wasn't any coding. All this time was taking to set up automated deployment to Firebase. And now here we have this on the Firebase. This app is automatically deployed after every commit. After every commit, all tests are run and the app is deployed. So you can also browse and see there what has already been done. Not much has been done. So the day before I completed this transform section with just a single transform element, and you can click plus buttons to add more transforms, but there is some design issue. I think I will take care of that later. So let's look at the Trello board. I moved all these tickets to the Trello board. While looking through these tickets, I found that there are some tickets which are actually meaningless, like ticket 6. Given that the input panel encoding dropdown is open, when the user clicks any option, the dropdown should close. Basically, this one. When it's open, we should click and then it should close. But the point is, it's not even possible to do with, for example, CSS or with HTML, because there is no attribute, there is no CSS, no anything from which you can tell if something is open or not. You see, this would be possible to do this via React. For example, on click you could set some CSS class, and then you could check if that CSS class is set or not. But that basically would be meaningless, because if React on click was called, then probably it's open already. So that's how I think that test for spec 6 is probably not necessary. So that's why I moved that to the closed. Maybe I can call it like invalid this. Okay, so now ticket 5 I want to complete. Now when the user clicks the input panel and encoding drop down, the drop down should open and they should see 3 options: text, hex and base64. This one also not completely possible to check because we can't know if the drop down is open or not. We can check it, but we can check the options. So I would change it to, okay, we can change it to there should be 3 options in the input panel encoding drop down. There should be 3 options in the input panel and in the encoding drop down. I think encoding drop down is the same for both the input and the output panels. Text, hex and base64. I think this is fine, right? Okay. Now that we checked this Trello board, let's go here and let's go to the test page. So here we are checking the TRS encoding drop down. I think I can take inspiration from here for this test number, what, number 5, I think. Number 5, yes. Spec number 5. Also, these specs, I call them specs, they are also called user stories. There's another way of calling this. There should be 3 options. 3 options in the encoding dropdown: text, hex, and base64. So let me try to make sure that this TRS encoding dropdown has option with value equal or maybe that it has text. Let me check first what we actually have here in our component. Not sure if I should make this bigger. Base 64, where this transform selection drop down, transform element component. This component yeah, this is too big for me. Let's set font height to this. Okay, this drop down transform. No, this transform component encoding drop down. Yes, this component encoding drop down component. Here we have the 3 options. So we need to make sure that there are options like this. I think I will just check value. This be more or less the same thing. I'm just going to check value because UTF-8, this is text, I think should exist, should be fine. UTF-8 base 64 and hex. Okay, let's check this test number 5. So this one works. So now let's move this 5 to done, and 7, given that the input panel coin drop down is open when the user clicks any option other than the current one, and if there was some text already in the input text area, the user should see the text in the output text area change. Okay, it tells us that basically if we change encoding, then the output should change, taking into account this encoding. But we need also, we should also make sure that if this encoding, that if the input is wrong, we should get an error. I think that's what's missing here. But I think we can complete it now, because for that we need some output logic already. I will just add additional ticket for this. Add card, I will call it 7.1. Given that the input panel in coin drawdown is open when the user clicks any option other than the current one, and some text already in the input text area, the user should see error message in the output area. I'm not sure how this error message should be. We need to think about it. And if user input is wrong for this encoding, the user should see an error message in the output area. Yeah, this one shouldn't be left, but we can leave it for later, because we still need to complete actual logic for this, right? We need to actually transform text to make sure that it doesn't work. Let's check point 9. When the user clicks the cross button on the top right of any of the transform panel elements, that element should be removed and the plus button should move to the left. Okay, so in the original design we have a cross button here, which should close the transform. We don't have it here though. You see. So what to do here? Well, I think we should add some kind of a cross button. Let me check material UI. I think we could work on this one. Yeah, actually wanted to work on something else, but if this is point 9, I think we can start working on this one. These two we will defer. Maybe I will create another list deferred. So this 7.1 and 7, these tickets we can defer for now. And point 9 basically wants us to create a cross button here to close this. I think we could do this. Let's check transform element component, this one. So we have a card. Inside of this card we will want a cross button. Cross button I think we could find here. Maybe inside icons there should be a cross somewhere. Here we have a clear. Close also. Clear or close, it's basically the same, right? Okay, how do I use it? This is typography, I think. Typography field. No, typography. This is this grid. This is typography. This is delete icon and delete forever icon. So this is delete icon. I think this one will be called close icon. Let's try to import close icon. Let me try to do it here. Close icon. No. Did they import this? Icons, material UI icons. So let me import this close icon. Close icon from okay. Now I will want to add this close icon somewhere on top of everything. Let me try to do it like this. What is it going to look like? Model not found. Can't resolve material UI icons close icon. Okay. So close icon is not here. Apparently. Just close. Yeah. Port close. Does it have an exported member like this? Okay, I think somehow differently. Okay, yeah, I don't need this because it exports it as default, I think, and that's why. Let's close. Yeah, now I need to change this to close icon. Okay, so some kind of an icon is there, but I will want to move it more to the right. However, since they both are part of this card, I don't want to move everything to the right. I just move this thing to the right. So I would want to create another div. I wonder if they have containers for this. Container fixed. Yeah, I'm not sure. I can just do this with CSS. So inside create styles, I can just create close button container. Flexbox align right. Start from right. I think there is a way to do this with a flexbox. If I make this div a flexbox, so I will immediately set class name to classes. What's our class? Close button container. And here I will make display flex. And let me look how I started from the right. Okay, flex start align self. I can do align self flex end, right? Align self flex end. Align self, I have to do it like this here. Yeah, okay. Somehow this is not flex end. Why? Yeah, I got it. I think I need to use justify self. Justify self. I need to set it to the item. So this should be property of the item itself. So close button. I need to set this class name here. Close button. Yeah, and this one I need to set width to 100% probably. Let me inspect this element and its container. Okay. Flex direction row. No, this one, right? Close button container, and this is close button. Align self flex and no. Somehow I think actually if I make it on the left it won't be an issue in itself. But I wonder why it's not working still. Justify self. I think it might work. Flex direction. What if I set it to column? No. No, it should be row. What if I set it to row reverse? Yeah, okay. This will do it. It's on the right. Only thing I don't like is this. It's the fact that it is not actually in the top right, all this padding, but this is coming from the card CSS, which comes with material UI, so I don't think I wanna change that. I will just add some margin so that it looks better. I could add a margin here, right? Margin bottom. But still there's too much space. Yeah, I think buttons like this in the top right corner is kinda not correct in this UI style, because if we let me look at this material UI things, I think definitely they don't want you to put buttons at the top right. These cross buttons. I think this is an anti-pattern. Example projects. Let's look at the example projects. What they have. Okay, but I would more like to use it. The themes. Let's look at the themes they have. So that's, you see, that's the one of the themes made with Material UI. So that's how they want everything to look. So they're adding a bar here. They're adding these options here. But somehow I feel adding options would be too much for our scenario. Okay, I don't want to dwell too much on the design now, so I can check this thing later. Maybe for the time being we could add a maybe close button like this, which will come somewhere at the end of everything. What do you think? Yeah, let's decide on this for now. Let me look at the button, at this button we created on top. Transforms panel component. Transforms, where is that button? Add transform element here, this button. So it looks like this. FAB. Let me add this button here for now. Later I will do some more research on how to properly do it in this design. On click for now, I will remove. I don't know, secondary color. Yeah, but it should be lower, since we have it inside the grid. No, not grid, since we have it inside this TRS element, which is what's it doing, this TRS element, I wonder. Text align center, margin, padding. It has some margin, it has some padding. So that's where padding is probably coming from. we don't have flexbox here. Maybe I can add a box for everything else and keep close button in the bottom, at the bottom for now. I will call it main element area, and we can give it height like 80%. Yeah, maybe a little less, maybe 75%. Okay, so I'll set close button here for now. Maybe later I think we might want to either change this card background. Maybe we can change to something else. Background color. I don't know which color would be good here. Somehow this shouldn't be painted the same color as the background color, but somehow this is happening. Maybe like this or something else. Anyway, I'm not a designer really. They will check it later. For now, let's make this button actually work. Let's delete things from transform. So what it's doing is the same thing it's doing everywhere else. We want to change our underlying state. That's it. We will need to send a redux action to remove it from data. To send redux action, we need to add a function in map dispatch to props. Our action will be related to removing transform, so method should be called the same way. I will call method remove transform. It will just dispatch an action. Type actions. Yeah, we need to define this action. So I control left click to go here, and the action will be called remove transform. Data, and here transform. How do we know which transform this is? I think we need something like a transform ID. So that we know which transform we are actually removing. Well, we might have multiple transforms with the same name, right? So let's go to reducers state. We have here transform type. It says here transform type. We also will add transform ID, which will be a number. Yeah. I think transform ID, we don't really need it as an ID, or no, we need it. So let's now go to the reducer itself. ID 0. to know which transform ID this is, we would need a counter to increment this ID. We could do this inside the state. Last transform ID equals, let's say, 10. So then it will be 10. And here we will have last transform ID number. So now when we create a new transform, I don't kind of understand it, because transforms actually this is what transforms is, right? Type and ID we create here from our new state. I can call it new transform ID. I change it also in the state definition because we have interface here. That's why I'm going to the other file. New transform ID ++. So this means it will take new transform ID and assign it to this new object ID variable, and then it will increment it. If we use ++ in the beginning, then it would first increment it and then assign it. That's the difference. Okay, so now that we have this new transform added with the ID, transform element component props. Okay, so this element needs to be provided this actually data, this transform data. So that's what I'm adding here, transform data. Okay, and when removing it, we will have to take it from here. They will need to send us transform ID. So and remove transform, we have to add it here too. Now we edit new property here, transform data, which we do not provide anywhere currently. Where is this? We need transform panel. Where is transform panel? Here is transform panel component. And inside of this transform panel component, you see here, property transform data is missing in type, but required in type read only, blah blah blah. Basically, what matters is the first sentence, property transform data is missing. So that's what we need to provide here, our transform data. I wonder, because I think I just did a mistake here. All this, what I yeah, kinda that's not what I should have done. Basically, this transforms map should have been inside transforms panel component, because that's what contains transform panels, right? Multiple transform panels. Yes, 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 yes. I think I need to move it here. And this grid also. With this classes grid. Okay, 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 okay. This is a serious mistake. I have to move it now. Because you see, this element was created for a single transform element, which is, let me show you the window again. Okay, I just broke everything, but let me go to the app, to this app. This, you see, this element all is a transform element, but in my case transform element actually contains all these elements, which is a mistake. All these elements are contained by the transforms panel. So that's what I should change now. Transforms element component. So we have state here also, I think. No, we don't have even state here, so we need to connect that one to Redux. That one is not even connected to Redux. Which is not good, of course. Yeah, you should always fix logical issues in your code as soon as you see them. Because if you think, I'll leave it at that for now, then after some time it might already be too late and it will take more and more time. Technical debt will accumulate and accumulate, and you will end up with a bad project, basically. And that's what you don't want, usually. Maybe if you want your employer to fail, then maybe that's what you might want, but I don't think that's what good for you in most cases. Okay, I've got this transform element, transform panel. Actually, wherever I see transform element, here I should change it to transform panel. And this will be transform panel component base. Yes, it's missing, but it will be alright, don't worry. Because now we will provide this from here. Also, we need the grid, I think. Grid. And closing part for this transforms map part. I think it should be good. Here is grid, cannot find name grid. Left side of comma operator is unused and has no side effects. What's it saying? I don't even know. But transform data should be coming from here, and then we can assign this transform data. Cannot find name grid. Yeah, this is a good thing. Grid, I think, should be coming from here. Yeah, I don't even have props here. That's something terrible. I'm assigning props to this component. So basically what I'm doing, I'm connecting this properly to Redux. Left side of comma operator is unused and has no side effects. I don't even know what's it saying. What left side of comma operator, but there is no comma operator. It can't be saying me anything about comma operator. There is not a single comma here. Not a single comma there. It's saying something weird. It's definitely. But let me look at this. What was here? So this I think I can remove. At least this I can remove, and instead of this grid, I don't know what I should create here. Yeah, a transform element button should also go there. So just one element here. Classes panel header. It is saying here. Yeah, it's here. Panel header is here. However, that's the problem. Yeah, I think this one should be coming here. It shouldn't be coming here. Okay, now what? Okay, now no errors coming. Let's see what's happening here. Yeah, now, but somehow plus button moved here. I think this is because of because of what? Oh, we had a flex somewhere here. Here we have grid. Yes, now I got it. It should be here. Yes, now it's correct. Okay, now I moved it correctly from code which was in transform element component, but instead of showing just a single element, it was showing multiple elements. Now I moved this code to transforms panel component. So now it's still this CSS issue there. Now I want to make this button working. So now let's check the test first of all. Let's make the test for this. We have a closing button. When the user clicks the cross button and the top right button, that one should be removed. So this 0.9. What I can do is I can first create button using the add transform button. Then once it's created, I can select second, let's say second transform button. Q1. Find TRS close button. Click. Okay, and after that we should have a 0. Oh no, not 0, 1. 1 transforms element. So let's check how this test is going to run. So it will not going to work. It can't even find TRS close button because we didn't give this CSS. We give this CSS to the static TRS. We can call TRS. Yeah, I think we can use this class name too. It won't hurt. Let's try. Okay, now it found that button and clicked it. You see, it found that button, the second element. Why it's working? So first of all, cy get selects transform element, then eq1 finds element with index 1. Since there are two elements with this selector, two elements will be found. We can select just one of those using eq. It gets the element at a specific index in an array of elements. So there will be element with then index 0 and an element with index 1. So element with index 1 is the second element, right? Then find the descendant DOM element with the given selector. So basically it tries to find an element with this selector which is a descendant of this element, the eq1 element which we just found, which is the second transforms panel in our case. So basically we find a remove button of the second transform panel and click it, and then we hope that that panel was removed, but it actually wasn't. So now we need to send redux action at last. Okay, so on click we should send the Redux action, which is remove transform. It's doing props remove transform. Also we should use props. We should use transform ID from transform data to tell the reducer which transform to remove. So we are giving it transform ID. Now we need to implement this in the reducer. It sends action remove transform. So in the reducer we can handle this action. Action remove transform. We could do it like this with the filter function. Okay, transform data. Transform data ID equals equals the ID received in action data transform ID. This transform ID which we just sent inside of this action. So we're filtering. So what filter function does? It takes your array and then runs this closure on every element of the array. Then it checks if this element passes this function. So if it returns true, then it passes. If it returns false, then it doesn't pass. If it passes, then this element will be a part of the new array, which will be assigned here to the result of the filter. If it doesn't pass, then it won't be in the new array. Since we need an array without the transform, which without this transform which we are removing, we can easily do this with filter. However, there is some costs to doing this because when we found a transform with this ID, normally we don't want to look further, but still filter will check every element. But in our case it doesn't matter much because we will have only a limited number of transforms, like 5 maybe at most. But mostly people just use one transform. Maybe sometimes they might want 2 or 3. So it's not an issue in using filter here. Normally you would probably want to just find the index of the element and then use, for example, splice. Okay, this should remove it. So let's see what happened with the test. You see, now it's removing it. Now we see this test. If we go again, there are some design issues which I will need to check. You see, first we created by clicking this button, then we removed by clicking this button, and then it was removed. So now I think it's been more than an hour now. So now I think it's time to complete to end the stream. I will first commit everything, so we'll have it rebuilt. I think we don't need to commit actually this Firebase folder. I'm not sure if we even need this. Okay, day 10. I will just call it day 10 because we have a video which describes all the changes. And then I would like to do more research, maybe between the streams on and proper design, how they should look in a proper material UI design. I don't like these buttons, these close buttons, because they are too big. And kinda I don't think that's what we really need. And how I want to place the elements. Maybe I will still do a button at the top right of the card. But I will need to change CSS somehow. I think some of these CSS are actually mine. This padding definitely mine. Margin also definitely mine. Padding top is not even working actually. Text align center. Yeah, padding top 16. I think that's what made problems with that plus button. So maybe I will actually do a plus button at the top right corner. I need to think about it. So did it commit? Yeah, it commit. Let's check our Travis CI. Yeah, it's building now. Once it is built, it will update here. I will add this link in the video description. Okay, anyway, while it's building, I think it will take some time. It will build anyway. So now I'm going to end the stream. Thank you for watching. If you liked the stream, subscribe to my channel. If you watch it in the recording, then you should see a subscribe button in the center. So any comments, questions, likes are appreciated. Thank you for watching. So you can see that now it actually built. Now it will do the deployment phase, and you will see the results if you go to this link. Okay, goodbye.